Good day, I'm Chuck Todd. We got a little breaking news right now on MSNBC. As you know, the Hillary Clinton campaign has confirmed that the former Secretary of State gave what they characterized as a voluntary interview to the FBI this morning about her email practices while she served as Secretary of State. Sources also tell NBC News that the long-anticipated interview lasted approximately 3.5 hours. Well, to give us a little more insight on that interview, we are joined by the former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton on the phone right now. Madam Secretary, good to talk to you this afternoon.
Thank you so much. Good to talk to you, Chuck.
Let me start by this. The New York Times called the meeting that you had this morning civil and businesslike. How would you describe your interview with the FBI today?
Well, it was both. It was something I had offered to do since last August. I've been eager to do it, and I was pleased to have the opportunity to assist the department in bringing its review to a conclusion.
I want to ask you about specifically, obviously the central question here is whether you violated the law in the handling of classified information. 18 U.S. Code 1924, unauthorized removal or retention of classified documents or material. Why do you believe you did not violate this law? It says here, being an officer, employee, contractor, or consultant in the United States, and by virtue of his or her office, if they become possessed of documents or materials containing classified information in the United States, knowingly removing such documents or materials without authority and with the intent to retain such documents or materials at another unauthorized location. How did your private server, where you kept this classified information, some of which was retroactive, I understand, after your term as Secretary of State, how is that not a violation of this code?
Well, Chuck, that's a mouthful. Let me just repeat what I have repeated for many months now. I never received nor sent any material that was marked classified, and there is a process for the review of material before it is released to the public, and there were decisions made that material should be classified. I do call that retroactively classifying. So therefore, it would not be publicly released. But that doesn't change the facts, as I have explained many times.
Who advised you that it was perfectly legal for you to have a private server and have this information on there as Secretary of State? Who gave you that advice?
I'm not going to go into any more detail than I already have in public many times, as you certainly know, out of respect for the process that the department is conducting. So I'm not going to comment any further on the review. But I've been answering questions now for over a year. I've released more than 55,000 pages of my emails for the public to read for themselves. I will continue to, be as forthcoming as I can, and my answers that I first gave more than a year ago, I stand by.
Let me ask you this. Your husband made an unannounced visit to the Attorney General on a tarmac in Arizona. I'm curious of your initial reaction when you found out the news.
Well, I learned about it in the news, and it was a short chance meeting at an airport tarmac. Both of their planes, as I understand it, were landing on the same tarmac at about the same time, and the Attorney General's husband was there. They said hello. They talked about grandkids, which is very much on our minds these days. Golf, their mutual friend, former Attorney General Janet Reno. It was purely social. They did not veer off of speaking about those kinds of, very common exchanges.
You didn't view what he did as inappropriate?
Well, it was a short chance meeting that occurred, and they did not discuss the Department of Justice's review. And I know that some, nonetheless, have viewed the meeting in a different light, and both the Attorney General and my husband have said they would not do it again. And the bottom line for me is I respect the professionalism and integrity of the officials at the Department of Justice handling this process. I was pleased to have a chance to sit down and answer their questions today to try to help bring this review to a conclusion.
So do you understand why many in the public, some of them were political opponents of yours, some are supporters who thought that was a bad decision by your husband, that was a mistake and he should have known better?
Well, I think, hindsight's 20/20. Both the Attorney General and my husband have said that they wouldn't do it again, even though it was, from all accounts that I have heard and seen, an exchange of pleasantries. But obviously, no one wants to see any untoward, conclusions drawn, and they've said they would not do it again.
And finally, let me ask you this. Obviously, you've seen the polling. We've talked about this issue of your problem with voters and the issue of trustworthiness. But how does it feel to have voters believe Donald Trump is more honest and straightforward than you are by nearly a 2-to-1 margin?
Well, Chuck, look, I have said that I'm going to continue to put forth my record, what I have stood for, do everything I can to earn the trust of the voters of our country. I know that's something that I'm going to keep working on, and I think that's a clear priority for me. I think that a lot of people count on me. They rely on me, just as the voters of New York did when they reelected me overwhelmingly, as they voted again for me in the primary based on, what they knew of me and how they counted on me, and indeed President Obama, after a tough campaign, trusting me to be his Secretary of State. So, when you've been in the eye of the tornado for as long as I have, I know that there's a lot of incoming fire. I accept that, but I'm going to, keep standing up and talking about what I have done and what I will do.
And I know your campaign said we only had 5 minutes for this interview, but let me ask you this one question, because as we were talking, there's some news reports out there that indicate that it looks like no charges may be brought against you and a final decision in a couple weeks. Were you given that indication today that no charges would be filed, and are you confident no charges will be filed?
Chuck, I am not going to comment on the process. I have no knowledge of any timeline. This is entirely up to the department.
Secretary Clinton, I know I went over my time that you guys offered us, but I will leave it there. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And
Thanks
happy
a lot,
Independence Day.
Good to talk to you. Okay. Bye-bye.
Well, there you go. As you heard from Secretary Clinton, she has said that she does not have a timeline. She is not aware of any timeline. She is not aware of what the FBI may or may not do. She seemed limited in what she wanted to say and did repeat that she believes everything she did was following the law. There you go. That special report there for you, that Hillary Clinton interview. We will go now back to regular programming. You can see more of our discussion on this and everything going on with the presidential campaign on Meet the Press.